Welcome back for another edition. This is DJ Leon D. I just want to tell you that I'm not an expert at anything. I don't profess to be an expert. I just know a lot of things, and I know a lot of things because of people I have been around, seen, knew, and still hang around with a few of them today. Not many, but let's talk about something that's kind of important to me. Let's talk about restaurants and food. You know, when you go in a restaurant and you sit down and they bring you a good meal and you order service and everything is going great and the waitress is very attentive, you want to appreciate that by giving them a tip. Now, I don't know what's in your pocketbook, but I try to do 15 to 25%, sometimes 15 to 20. I don't go over 20 very much because you know what? Most of the time, after you get your drink and your food, they kind of disappear for a while. And they'll walk past you like 10 times, but they'll disappear for a while. And you run out of a drink, you gotta like get their attention. If I gotta get your attention to come back and serve me, you automatically lost 5%. Automatically. I don't care what I was gonna give you. Now, I know the food is not your fault, but the one thing is your fault. When I watch my food sit underneath a burner, keeping it warm for 10 minutes. Now, sometimes you have reasons for that. All the food is not ready. But so if it's not all ready, then you can kind of semi understand that. But I don't want a steak that's been sitting there underneath the burner for 20 minutes and the steak cost me $45 or $50. I don't want that. When my steak is done, bring it. And a good chef, which I know most restaurants don't have chefs these days. Most restaurants don't have a chef. They have a cook. There's a huge difference between a chef and a cook. Because see, a cook is just gonna cook the food when the order comes in. A chef, like myself, is gonna try and time it so that when the hardest part or the most difficult thing to cook, when that finishes, everything else is timed to finish exact same time. So all the food is ready to go out at the same time. They're not gonna have the steak or the hamburger done in 2 minutes and the steak take another 15 minutes. I don't mind waiting on quality food. I want it right more than quick. So you have to think about if it's just a cook, your food's gonna sit under a burner. If it's a chef, all the food at that table will finish about the same time. He can plate it and send it out. But what we're talking about tonight is tips. People get tips all wrong. And a lot of people ask me, why do I tip the way I tip? I'm going to tell you why. Here's how I tip. Say you go in a restaurant and everything costs $100. And then they add tax to it. Say like Tennessee, where taxes are very, very high on things you purchase. So you go to Tennessee and your bill comes to $100. And the reason I bring this up because I was just in Memphis a couple weeks ago. Your bill goes to $100. And then with the tax is $110. You say, okay. Now, a lot of you say, if I give 20% on $110, then now my bill is going to be $132 if I give 20%. And the total bill comes to $110. See, that's where we're different. I don't give 20% on a $110 bill because $10 of that is taxes. I'm not going to tip the tax man. No, I'm not doing that. So the way I look at it, you have two types of bills. You have your bill that you have purchased things and you were served and you enjoyed the service. And then you have what they call the total bill. When I tip on the purchase bill. So I give 20% of $100. And then I add $10 to it for the tax. So now I'm at $130, not $132. And people say, well, that's not right. Oh, yeah. It's definitely right. Whenever you ever got a tax bill that said $1,000 and you decide, hey, I'm going to give some extra money to Uncle Sam. Nope, 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 nope. You don't do that. I've never done it, never considered it. If Uncle Sam say I owe him $1,000 for my taxes, I give him $1,000. I don't give him an extra 20%. Now, I know some of you may do that because, let's face it, some of you are not the sharpest tool in the shed. You know that. Your parents knew it and all your relatives know it. But so my point is, I'm going to give the waitress 20% of what I purchased, not 20% of what I purchased and the add-ons that I don't control. I'm not doing that. And one time I had a waitress told me, she says, well, sir, you didn't give me very, very much tip. I said, yes, I did. I gave you 20%. And she goes, well, the bill was 110 and I don't see 130. She goes, I don't think it's true. I said, first of all, you don't need to think. Because she brought around a credit card reader. You know, the ones you just scan in what you want to pay. And the credit card readers, they have suggested taxes all the time. Tips. They have suggested tips percentage-wise all the time. I've never just clicked automatically on one of those things unless it says 0% and I had bad service, which you get a lot of times nowadays. But in her mind, I should have tipped the tax man too. Well, she collects the tax man tip. So now, if I paid $132 on a bill where my food was $100 and then they added 10% to make it $110 because of taxes, if I paid $132, I'm now giving her a 22% tip. I know that. She didn't realize that. But that brings up another point. That's why they have to get an education. Now, I know in a restaurant, I say it all the time. Minimum intelligence means you get minimum effort. Nobody wants to work in a restaurant at the age of 55 years old by choice, waiting on tables. Nobody wants to do that. Sometimes life circumstances make you have to do that. But it ain't like you wake up in the morning and say, I hope when I'm 55, I work at McDonald's or I work at Texas Steakhouse. No, nobody has those dreams. If they do, they shouldn't go to sleep because those are messed up dreams. So my point to her was, I gave you 20% on what you did, not on what the tax man is adding to the bill. So when you see those credit card readers, they suggest a tip on the total bill. Just look at one of them. Yes, they suggest a tip on the total bill. I see it all the time. And I was out with the guy one day and we was having some meals and some food and he goes, oh, wow. You didn't tip, you don't give 20%. I say, I do to her if the service is good, but I'm not giving the tax man anything at all. So speaking of tips, one person I don't tip a lot unless they go out of their way when I'm getting food served to me, or not even food, just say drinks. Why do you tip your bartender a lot of money? Now, if they're going to pour my drink from out of the bottle without a thimble to measure my drink, yes, I'll give them a tip because I know I'm going to get more than what I normally would get in a drink. I know that already. But if they're going to measure it through a thimble, guess what? I'm going to measure my tip. Because you're not getting a tip. You're not getting 10%, 20%. No, you didn't give me anything beyond what I would have got if I had my own bottle and I measured my thimble. The fact that you poured the drink, I'm sure that price of the drink is in the price. The price of the drink includes your service, includes your work. It includes that. So you're not getting anything extra because you gave me nothing extra. That's just the way it is. If you give me something extra or go beyond what you have to do, I will go beyond what I have to do. When you give me the minimum amount you can give me, I'm going to give you the minimum amount I can give you. It's tit for tat because a bartender thinks pouring a drink and just giving it to you is worth something. No, that's called your damn job. That's what you already paid to do, whether I was there or not, You already pay for the hour of work. And some people say, well, I live on the tips. Well, guess what? You need to change your lifestyle. You need to change your lifestyle. Because that, some people say, well, waitresses get paid below minimum wage. They may be. But I didn't hire you. And if you didn't know what you were going to make per hour before you took the job, you need to get somebody to help you read. Because living for tips is not a constant flow of cash. Because the cash, the amount you're going to make is going to vary every day. But guess what? Your car note, your mortgage, or your rent is not going to vary every day. Nope, not at all. It's going to be what's going to be. And you need to make sure that you get a job to cover what it is that you're going to be. I mean, it's not that difficult to figure it out. And some people say, well, I got 2 kids. Guess what? They're not mine. And if they got dads or moms running around, I think you need to start there for trying to get help to raise your kids. You need to start somewhere other than me. Because I'm not the person that's going to sit there and say, oh, well, I feel bad for her. She made some mistakes in life. We have all made mistakes. Some of us has just figured out how to bounce back. And some of us may have had good guidance that our mistakes were minimized. But having a kid or having a mortgage or whatever, those are life-making decisions that we made. Or in my case, you made. So my whole point is, when you go there and you tip, you should always consider how good was the service, not just the automatic 20%. Because what's the incentive for her or him to get better? I've had waiters that were just so introverted, they never even looked at you. I've had waiters that you say, hey, I want a burger without lettuce. They ask you 3 times. And then I've had waiters, I say, hey, is this fresh? She said, yes. And I'm looking at the guy taking the meat out of a frozen bag that's already been prepared at some other place, at some other plant that was just shipped in to Outback. And see, I try to avoid going to places that don't give you fresh stuff. And I can tell you how you can tell. Perfect example. I was in Boston one time, and you go there, and the guy said, oh, we got some of the best ribs. I said, hey, are you making the ribs here? He goes, yeah, I think we are. Well, I had drove around the back of the restaurant looking for a parking spot. I didn't see a smoker outside. I didn't see a smoker inside. And I'm thinking, okay, now as a chef, I know that barbecue came in frozen or came in already prepared. I'm fine with that. But if I ask the waiter or waitress, is it fresh or is it made here? Don't tell me yes, because I'm going to tell you right now, it's hard to make barbecue without a smoker or a grill. And ribs don't normally come off a grill. If you grill ribs, I'm not eating them. And so I asked him, I said, so I don't want any barbecue sauce on my ribs. Put the barbecue sauce on the side. He said, what? I said, yeah. I don't want the ribs with sauce. I want them without sauce. And he told me, he said, you can only get them with sauce. I said, I don't want any sauce. And he said, you can only get them with sauce. And so I said, can I speak to the chef? He goes, yeah, sure. So the chef comes out. I said, hey, I don't want any sauce on my ribs. He said, they come like that. I said, let me tell you something, man. If you don't know, I'm fine. But I asked, was the ribs, fresh, were they made here, cooked today? He goes, they're cooked today. I said, let me tell you something. I done seen a lot of pigs in my life. I ain't never seen a pig with sauce already on it. I seen a pig with mud already on it, but not sauce. Lots of them with mud. He goes, well, they come from our distribution plant like that. I said, well, that's a different answer than they're made and cooked fresh. They're not cooked fresh. They're reheated fresh. And, I feel kind of bad for Jose. because you don't know what you don't know. And he goes, "Oh, you want to know if I'm actually cooking it here today?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "No." I said, "Well, your waiter needs to know that information because people like me, we ask, we want an honest answer. If you don't know, you don't know. But don't talk to me like I'm stupid. Consider the fact that he's 18 years old and I know he doesn't know." And he was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "Now, when I go to Mission Barbecue, I watched them smoke the food in front of me. I watched them take it out of the smoker, hot as hell, and then they offer you your sauces on the side. Any place that's cooking the food while I'm there are going to offer you your sauces on the side." And he was kind of like, "Oh, yeah. I'll let him know." And I said, "Well, now, I don't want any ribs now. I'll get something else. What do you make fresh here?" He had absolutely no answer. That told me that everything at that restaurant, this is a chain restaurant, which chains are famous for not cooking food. They just reheat food, and he was very, very upfront. Because everything it comes, flash prepared. You just flash it and it's ready for you. I say that's why people get ribs in 2 minutes after they order them. People get all their food within 2 or 3 minutes. And he goes, "Yes." I said, "Yeah, I see that. This is like a fast food place, personally. This is no different than McDonald's." Yeah, it's kind of. I said, "But your signs say fresh foods." And he told me, "Our salads are fresh." I said, "Yeah, but the sign don't say fresh salads. It says fresh foods with an S. If it didn't have an S on it, I would assume it was one or two things. S, I assume it's multiple things." So that affected his tip. So when you think about tipping somebody, think about the service and not just the fact that you ate and you got full. Because tips should be earned. We're one of the few countries in the world that expect a tip. America don't live off tips. And then I got a tip for you. If tip is, my tip to him was, you should get a better job in education and you won't be in this situation. Because right now you're in a situation because of a lack of an education. And this is not something good to go forward in life. So that is DJ Leon D Tape tips. Tip is, be careful with the tip, be careful how you tip, be careful how much you tip. Because people they expect to be tipped for lack of effort, lack of knowledge, and lack of enthusiasm for the job they have. And by you tipping a large amount, you are going to perpetuate that situation. This is DJ Leon D. I'll see you next week.